Create, Share, and Give. This is my Aunt Marie, and today I wanted to pull a few cards and do a reading on the case of Dr. Dre and his daughter, who has now started a GoFundMe for a home for her and her, I believe, 4 children. So the situation they are in has called for some dialogue to be brought up. And I like to take advantage of situations, not because it's celebrity tea, but because it's a way to discuss how we handle our families and how we perceive situations to be. So I wanted to pull a few cards and kind of get a little insight on the mindset. I've had this discussion with a few of my friends. I saw a video on the daughter, and in the comments, there were so many comments that were saying, you know, she's of age and shame on her for not having herself together. Her father doesn't owe her anything. My particular perspective is I was thinking back to my ancestors, my grandmother, my great aunts, that were women of the South, wise women who held their families down. In every family, I'm sure someone has a family member that's been on drugs and have a mental illness or a mental health issue. And I just remember there will be like uncles in the back room in different families, an aunt that's living, you know, in a renovated garage. Whatever the case may be, but I never saw, growing up as a child in that environment, I never saw homeless people. I never saw family members on the street or hungry, because they all had gardens and plenty of food. So you were not going hungry and you were not going to be homeless. And that was the core of what the family situation was. And my mindset has changed. At one point, I was a tough love type of person, but then now that I'm growing and my heart chakra is opening, I definitely am learning to love more unconditional. Unconditional understanding that some people may not be mentally as strong as others. Some people may need help. And it doesn't matter your age. You can be 40, 50, 60, have a midlife crisis, lose everything, still haven't gotten yourself together emotionally. So I don't put anything on age, because age has no number of learning lessons. So with that being said, if I were in that situation, I would definitely make sure my grandchildren are okay. I would not leave my grandchildren homeless. If they're homeless, then I'm sure they're not getting a proper education that a billionaire could afford the grandchildren. And it's not about the monetary, it's more about the emotional. How are you there emotional? Is that child hurt? Were you ever in their life to begin with? Those are questions that are personal that we would never know unless they make them public. So I wish the daughter well. I wish the children well. And as far as Dr. Dre go, I believe he definitely has some issues just based on his past record, and not wanting to hold his past record against him, but I think that is evidence that can be used as far as character. So these are some of the cards that I pulled to just get an overall energy and feeling on the situation there. And for what I am seeing in my reading and intuition, that Dr. Dre just chooses not to see the situation, either because he doesn't want to deal with it. And it seems like he's disconnected himself emotionally from his daughter. He refuses to look at what's in front of him. He's definitely disconnected himself from his home base, meaning his family members. He's crossed the pond. He's protecting his wealth that he has built from himself. When his cup runneth over, what do you do when your cup runneth over? When your cup runneth over, do you reach back and help other people? Or do you choose to turn a blind eye and pretend like the issue doesn't exist? But he definitely needs to have more understanding of where another person's perspective may come in at. We can't always judge what we would do and what our capabilities are based on someone else's emotional supply. And Dr. Dre has had the world financially at his fingertips for quite some time. He appears to be the type of person who pays the cost to be the boss. And what he says goes. And if you don't do what, when, and how he says it, then he will definitely cut you off. They are definitely at a crossroad. I think it's going to take almost a miracle for them to work this out. I feel like there's been a long-standing emotional issues going on with their relationship. And you have to be able to look at the situation to address the problem, which I do not think that is being done. There's been a blind eye to the situation, and who knows how long that's been going on. So I hope that his daughter finds her way for the sake of her children. I hope that Dr. Dre will understand his daughter's perspective, whether it be right or wrong, good or bad. Your child is still your child, in my opinion. That's the kind of mother I am anyway. And if I had grandchildren, I'm coming for my grandchildren, and then I'll ask questions later, period. Especially if I have the financial means to do so. I will make sure that my seeds will definitely be looked after. Totality. You're going to have to stick together as a family, like I was saying before, on how my ancestors took care of one another. Number one, they had to, living in the dire situations they were, you had to help each other out. You had to help each other out if anyone would survive. You are only as strong as your weakest link. And to me, that means manning up, being the head of your household, of your lineage, and making sure that your family is together. Now, I'm not saying let anyone use you or walk over you or disrespect you. No. But there's a way that I feel like the family unit has been disconnected in healing. There has to be healing that needs to take place. Healing, maybe the daughter has felt some type of way for many years. I don't know what their relationship has been like, but there has been a lot of hurt. And I feel like Dr. Dre also needs some healing going on too. And until they both heal any kind of trauma, there has definitely been some heartbreak and disappointment in this relationship, as well as disconnection. I feel like he has disconnected emotionally from his daughter. But at the end of the day, you have to come together. You cannot be the king that sits on the throne that refuses to look at yourself and disconnect from your family and your loved ones. You need understanding. There has to be understanding. Because, again, if you've gained all the material goods of the world, what is it if you don't have your family there with you and sharing that wealth with them? When your cup runneth over, you share with understanding, love, and healing. So I hope that they find a way to heal their relationship. You are one. Your ancestors, you, and your future generations depend on the unity. So we're at a healing stage for all of those who are healing. I know I'm definitely on my healing journey. Don't be afraid to heal those relationships. And remember what unconditional love is. And always look at the other person's perspective. Then you can stand in the middle and come up with a great conclusion. Thank you guys for watching, and until we meet again, take care.